Love remains unbroken, even in death, and this holds even when the bond is between a human and a dog. In today's story, we'll explore the touching tale of a dog who attended his owner's funeral. And what he did next will truly astonish you. When a loyal dog lost his best friend, he was heartbroken. His owner, Mehmet Ilhan, had been a significant part of his life. Whenever Mehmet went to work or left the house, his dog would miss him dearly. After losing his wife and with his children growing up and living their own lives, Mehmet longed for companionship. Although his children visited often, he desired someone to share daily walks, watch television with, and simply enjoy life together. This led him to adopt a little black and brown puppy named Caesar, and from that moment, they were inseparable. They went everywhere together. Mehmet was never alone because Caesar was always with him. They would play with a ball in the wide open spaces outside of town and take long walks in the countryside. And even when Mehmet went shopping, the shopkeepers knew Caesar would be with him. Then Mehmet became paralyzed, and their companionship became even more vital. The days of long walks were over, but Mehmet knew he needed to care for Caesar, so he forced himself to get out of bed each day. It was as if the little dog had saved him from sinking into depression. Despite the challenges they faced, Mehmet and Caesar discovered numerous enjoyable activities to occupy their days. Mehmet's skill in hurling the ball far distances ignited Caesar's excitement as he eagerly retrieved it. Witnessing the small dog's joyful bounces across the lush greenery almost transported Mehmet back to a time when his legs were strong and agile. However, as time passed, Mehmet grew older, and one day he became gravely ill. At first, he was reluctant to leave Caesar's side, but his son Ali insisted that he needed to see a doctor. Despite Mehmet's initial resistance, the family reassured him that they would take care of Caesar for as long as necessary. Finally, with a heavy heart, Mehmet agreed to seek medical help. The old man cried as he asked his family to bring Caesar to him one last time. He was afraid it might be their last hug. With trembling hands, he cradled his cherished canine companion, pulling him close and showering him with affection. Mehmet gently stroked Caesar's ears, soothing the loyal dog with familiar gestures of love. While giving Caesar his favorite snack, the room felt both happy and sad. Mehmet whispered to Caesar, telling him he loved him so much and asking him to take care of Ali when he was gone. The farewell moment was filled with heartbreak. With great tenderness, Mehmet gently placed Caesar on the ground, his gaze lingering for one last moment on his faithful companion before reluctantly turning away. This poignant goodbye signified the beginning of a challenging journey for both Mehmet and Caesar. Mehmet bravely faced his sickness, but Caesar had to deal with the scary idea of living without his best friend. Mehmet was admitted to the hospital and stayed there for days, but his condition kept getting worse. As he got sicker, Caesar refused to eat at home with Ali and his family. They tried everything to tempt him, but Caesar just wanted to be left alone. It seemed like the little dog knew his owner wasn't doing well. Ollie's children would sit with Caesar, trying to feed him by hand, but he would refuse to eat and instead rest his head on their legs for comfort. It was becoming clear that Mehmet was never to come home again. A few days after saying his final goodbye to Caesar, Mehmet passed away in the hospital. His family was incredibly sad, but no one felt the loss as deeply as Caesar. The person who meant the world to him was never coming back. Ali explained the situation, but he didn't know how much Caesar understood until the day of the funeral. The body was brought back to the family in a coffin, and there among the mourners was Caesar, ready to pay his last respects and say goodbye to his best friend. Caesar sat next to the casket, his head bowed for the entire service. He didn't bark. He didn't make a sound. Sadness enveloped him like a blanket. A dog can't speak, but you only had to look at the pictures taken at the funeral to see how devastated Caesar was, sitting underneath the coffin. When the family carried the coffin to the cemetery, Caesar walked with them, following closely behind. Some of the family tried to pick him up to comfort him, but he wouldn't let them. He moved away, keeping his focus on the coffin. It was only after the coffin was covered in soil and his friend was in his final resting place that Caesar followed the family to pick him up. Ollie had promised to care for Caesar as long as needed, and now the dog would live with the family permanently. He would have everything he needed, but that didn't mean he wouldn't still mourn. Ollie and his family gave Caesar a lot of love and attention, but life had to go on. The children went back to school, the parents had to work, and some mornings Caesar would be alone. Caesar was a good dog, well-behaved and obedient, yet some days when Ollie checked on him in the morning, Caesar was nowhere to be found. Ollie didn't know where Caesar went during these times. They realized that every morning, as everyone was leaving, Caesar would slip out and go on his little adventure. By the afternoon, when some of the family returned home, Caesar would be there, waiting for them. Where was he going every day? On his day off, Ollie decided to follow Caesar. After everyone left, Caesar slipped out through a little hole in the fence, one the family didn't even know about. It was strange, because in all the years Ollie had known Caesar, he had never behaved this way. But here he was, going on a slow walk with a secret mission, and only he knew where it would take them. Ollie followed close behind. Caesar walked with confidence, clearly having a destination in mind. Their path took them through the entire town. Ollie couldn't believe the dog was walking such a long distance. As they strolled past Caesar's familiar abode, a question lingered. Was this the destination he had envisaged? However, Caesar merely halted momentarily, casting a fleeting glance at the dwelling before resuming his journey. It wasn't until they reached the town's outer fringes that Ollie began piecing together the unfolding narrative. Slowly, the realization dawned upon him. It was the cemetery that they were approaching. Despite the sprawling expanses of graves, Caesar exhibited an unwavering sense of direction, navigating effortlessly toward his destination. His pace quickened as he paused by laboring workers, each extending warm greetings, their affectionate scratches affirming his status as an esteemed companion. Yet Caesar's purpose remained undeterred as he pressed on, his strides guided by an unspoken bond. Eventually, Caesar arrived at a newly marked grave, the final resting place of his cherished friend. Here in the quiet cemetery, he gently lay down, feeling peaceful and happy next to his dear friend, fulfilling his wish to be in the right place. As Ollie caught the attention of the cemetery workers, they curiously inquired if he was accompanying Caesar on his habitual visits. Ollie, taken aback, sought to understand when Caesar had commenced this routine. The workers proceeded to recount how, without fail, every dawn since Mehmet's internment, Caesar faithfully made his pilgrimage. Each morning, he would tenderly lie by the grave, spending hours in quiet vigil, only to return home in the afternoon, ensuring his presence for his newfound family's arrival. The duration of Caesar's devotion to his departed master remains uncertain, yet now the family is privy to his daily whereabouts. Though he cherished his new family, Caesar's heart remained tethered to his cherished companion, demonstrating that his loyalty endures beyond the confines of mortality. Ollie frequently accompanies the family dog Caesar when paying visits to his father's resting place. In these somber moments, amidst the quietude of the cemetery, Ollie and Caesar find solace in each other's company. Despite being unable to shed tears like humans, Caesar's silent presence speaks volumes, mirroring the sorrow etched on Ollie's face. It's evident that Caesar, too, mourns the loss of Mehmet deeply, just like any other member of the family. Even though they're sad together, they'll stick together and support each other, showing a bond that goes beyond just being a human or dog. It's in these times that you see what family really means. Love and understanding that goes beyond who's human and who's not. Can dogs tell when someone's sick or dying? Do pets feel sad when their owners die? Please share your thoughts in the comments. And thanks for watching, and come back for more touching tales next time.